Alakoye Simmons, who is with Third Root Community Health Center, is going to speak about the awesome things they do there.
All right, good evening, good afternoon. So as you can see here, the question that I'm posing is, what if we focus on preventing disease in our communities instead of treating symptoms of disease? And that question has been a part of my discipline since 2005, definitely. What I like to do first, before even going into that question, is pose some questions to y'all by a raise of hands, to all of y'all who are here. And I appreciate your patience in still being here. The first question I'd like to ask is, how many folks here are acupuncturists or practice acupuncture? None. Okay. So everybody from PCOM has left. That's good, and that's what it is. The second question I'd like to ask is, how many folks here participate or have recommended yoga to someone in their community or their family? All right, so we have a pretty good sizable hand here. And what that says for me and what I share with you is that you're very much involved in meditation. Meditation with your body, meditation with your organs, meditation with breathing, meditation with even actualizing and realizing your own spirit self. And that's a key thing, the spirit. What I like to then ask here is, how many people here have sex? Yes, sex. Great. So you're all active in creating something that's blissful, creating something that you can enjoy potentially. You're active in relaxing, releasing, relating with one another, with your partners and your community in that. Now I'd like to ask here, how many folks here go out of their way to seek out organic food? All right, and the numbers kind of went down a bit here, but what that's also saying is that you're involved in something that's bigger, even if you don't even understand all of the dynamics around it. You're involved in something that's bigger than just what's processed, what can just easily be gotten off the shelf and just eaten. The spirit is something that's deeper, involved in what we call nature. And you know, we have here the paper, we have the mat here that I'm standing on, the microphone. All of this comes from the earth. So you're involved in a process relating to the earth. All right? What I want to share with you as an acupuncturist, that's what I'm called, but I consider myself a facilitator of healing. And Third Root Collective that I practice at here in Brooklyn, we're all our facilitators of healing. We utilize the yoga modalities, we utilize herbal therapy, we utilize massage therapy, we utilize acupuncture, and all that acupuncture comes with. So, yoga, that's yoga asana, and as the speaker before me articulated, you know, you generally see people sitting on mats and, you know, they're pretty skinny sometimes. But when you go to a yoga therapist, what you're actually embracing is a 3,000 to 5,000 year old preventive art. All right? This is an art of preventing disease. So you're connecting with something that's preventive. And it's only one little part of it too. So there are different branches. The yoga asana is just one part of it. The movement, the breath is just one part of it. And generally, if you go to a yoga therapist or a yoga instructor, a yoga asana instructor, over a period of time, that yoga asana instructor will actually start to cultivate those other branches of Ayurvedic medicine, which is where it comes from. The same thing is for massage therapy. Over a period of time, that massage therapist will actually start to cultivate other branches. I'm reminded, in my process of creating this presentation, I found myself looking up Hippocrates about 3 or 4 in the morning, and I was always enamored with Hippocrates. And one of the things that I found was that he came through several different teachers. One of his teachers, whose name I can't recall at this moment, is considered the father of Western sports medicine. And what that meant is that his advocacy was that everyone needed to exercise. I mean, He advocated walking for some patients, they needed to walk 20 miles a day. You know, and that, we're talking almost 3,000 years ago. All right? For Hippocrates, what his position was that we should do the best that we can do to nurture life, to prevent illness, to prevent disease. But when disease arises or when illness arises, we should do our best to do no harm while treating that client, while treating that individual. You know? And so, bringing it back to the dynamics around what we do at Third Root, what I do, when it comes to acupuncture, it's only one little part of what I do. As a Chinese medical practitioner, some of y'all ever go to China, you'll find that in China, an acupuncturist is actually a doctor. In the same way, if you go to India, someone who does yoga is part of a system that they're a doctor. They're a full-fledged doctor like we are, like conventional Western doctors here. Even more involved, they're holistic, what we would call in this country holistic. They embrace the mind, they embrace the body, they embrace the emotions of life, and they look at that within how do we align constantly, how do we help our clients align constantly with spirit. You know, and in this conversation also, the spirit, the idea with spirit is that spirit wants everyone to succeed. So there's no spirit that's like, oh, well, I want you to fall down, hurt yourself, you know, or I want you to be broke, I want you to be homeless. You know, it's like, no, spirit wants everyone to succeed, you know. And that is often seen, as I mentioned earlier when I asked how many folks here eat organic food. That comes up when we look at the reflection of earth, the relationship of all things on earth outside of human life. So give an example, when you have a pack of wolves, they won't go and hunt all of the moose. You know, instead what they'll do is they'll hunt, and they'll only catch the ones that are left that can't fend for themselves, that are about to die. You know, and that's what they'll eat. So there's a constant life and death interchange, but it's a balance. It's about just maintaining balance. And so in the prevention of disease, as the speaker before me said, we all want to be healthy, but the key thing is that our bodies are constantly manifesting a state of homeostasis. It constantly wants that homeostasis. So if we just had the things we needed, the basic things, food, clothes, shelter, access to quality food as nature intended, what some of us here call organic, and rest, our bodies will constantly go through a process of just balancing out naturally. And then in turn, if we get too cold, then we can just actually say, well, we observe certain things. That's where I come into play. That's where a yoga therapist following the breath. That's where a massage therapist can come into place. That's where a Western practitioner comes into place in terms of just coaching, guidance. So that's why I say I'm a facilitator of healing. So, where I'd like to go further with this is, in this context of preventing disease, what does it look like? When I presented to my client base, and I practice in Brooklyn and I practice in Harlem, when I presented to my client base the question that I was posing, the overwhelming majority of them actually said, well, I guess if that's really going to happen, a lot of these doctors aren't going to be working. Because what they've come up against is that if they get better, then there's less reliance on the doctor. Instead, they're greater empowered to just take care of themselves. But the problem is that the doctor then says, well, how am I going to get paid? You know, so there's this whole issue of what we call healthcare reimbursement. Or, you know, I call it reimbursement care, because if you, in the system of prevention traditionally, the idea was the healer working within the community simply helped the community to remain healthy. If the community got sick, that healer was not supported any further. But as long as the community was healthy and maintained a certain level of health, they supported that healer, or they supported that facilitator healer. And so that's the tradition that I come through. to help my community and the communities that I'm a part of maintain a quality of health. It's challenging because what happens is we're dealing with a system of economics, we're dealing with a system of class and access, but nonetheless, the clients that come to me, the clients that come to Third Group, they get better. If they were sick already, they get better. If they are healthy, they stay healthy. They may catch a cold, the cold may last 2 days instead of lasting a week, 2 weeks. Their mental health, their emotional health goes up. Their physical health goes up. So, in that, what my challenge is that I've brought up with myself and what I've talked about with other practitioners is, if we truly involved in preventing disease, then what our mission is to actually begin to become more unified as advocates for health and for prevention of disease, as opposed to just treating the symptoms, as opposed to learning and just saying, okay, well, these are the drugs, or even as acupuncturists, or you come in, all right, I'm only going to do this, this, and this, and you keep coming back, making a slave out of our patients, so to say. Instead, if we actually align with one another, if we integrate our services, where you have what would be considered conventional medicine, combined with what's considered complementary medicine. Transcend that to just to honor the term medicine, which is, in Latin, it would be medicinus, the art of healing, just to be healers, regardless of whether we're conventional, all of those terms just transcend that, because we're already transcending it by those individuals who stood up and said, yes, I do yoga. Those individuals who say, yes, I care about the food I eat. Those individuals who say, yes, I care about the quality of sex I have. I enjoy this. These are the things that we all have a right to have. If we work with one another as healers, if we come together, we can then prevent it. We can transform, we can be advocates for a change of how we deliver health care, especially as we go through this change in this country in the next year to 2 years, which is very confusing for me as an individual, especially considering that the modalities that I practice and my fellows practice aren't even considered healthcare practice. We're not considered healthcare practitioners in the conventional sense. So we're doing this work without having any reimbursement. Oftentimes our clients come to us and we treat them for free. Oftentimes our clients come to us, we treat them for nothing, barely minimal. So we're creating a way to sustain ourselves through this process. And what I say, where I'm coming from is that if we work together as healthcare practitioners, as facilitators of healing, we then are empowering our communities by articulating the needs that our communities have together, as opposed to our clients, in my case, and in a lot of my peers' cases, the clients that come to us saying, well, I'm tired of my Western care doctor. No, I actually want to work with the Western care doctors. I want to work with those who are coming up so that they can understand what I do, because I had to learn what they did. What they do. I had to go through anatomy school, and massage therapists have to do the same thing. Yoga therapists have to do the same thing. Go through anatomy school, go through physiology classes. Spend hours learning this information so that when clients come to us and they say, well, this is what my doctor said I have, we can say, okay, well, now we're going to apply these type of regimens to balance what your doctor has given, And that's healing. That's empowerment. They feel supported. The patients feel supported. So I simply want to just close with a statement. And it comes from the Tao. There is no way, there are all ways. Traditionally or historically, Hippocrates, whether it was a Western practitioner, whether it was Eastern practitioners, whatever part of the globe, they traveled. They really wanted to learn and cultivate their craft. So for me, I ask that of all of the new students, all of the candidates, the future graduates, and the present practitioners here, let's continue working with one another, continue growing your skills, continue expanding your horizons. You're here because you want to expand. The work you're doing on yourselves is about expansion and about prevention. Continue doing that work. You know, embrace it. So that we can really then get to a point where, yes, people may still get sick, but we don't have to worry so much about disease.